Hello everybody, Shadefyre here, and today I am taking a first impressions look at a new old Resident Evil sort of thing, or at least new to me. This is actually a demo for Battle Coliseum, which will be the kind of Mercenaries minigame mode for the upcoming Resident Evil 1.5 revival project, which is essentially people trying to build or rebuild Resident Evil 1.5, which, if you're not aware, was the original version of Resident Evil 2 that was scrapped partway through development and then sort of rebuilt from the ground up. So there's a partially finished version of it that was leaked. Well, partially finished. It's basically what they finished up until they stopped working on it. So you can see one of the characters there, Elza Walker, who was the original Claire, has an actual model and everything. That's from the released version. But they have to actually build a game out of it because there isn't a whole bunch to it. Anyhow, this is a demo they put out, just sort of a gameplay demo for the minigame mode, and eventually they're going to put out a demo for the main game as well. But this is what we've got for now, and I thought this was pretty cool when I heard about it. Well, the control scheme's a little weird.
Resident Evil 2.
Like, for some reason, square is accept, when, even in Japanese games, circle was usually accept, and, later games, X became the norm. So you can see here we've got Leon, who is pretty much the same as his final design, and Elza Walker, who is still pretty much similar to Claire in that she's wearing her fancy biking outfit instead of Claire's leather jacket. But we'll play as Elza here. And even this is pretty simple right now. The only map is a generic sort of VR room here, but yeah, it plays like old Resident Evil. One thing that's very different is when you aim, you get this sort of Resident Evil over-the-shoulder cam, but it doesn't have free aiming or anything. It's still locked to, looking up and down, and it still locks to enemies. Alright, so we got 14 crows as our first wave. So you can see I don't really have to aim directly at them, it sort of snaps to them. So really the over-the-shoulder isn't them completely changing the control scheme, it's just the way it looks to the player. And I'm pretty sure this is the music from Mercenaries and Resident Evil 3. Either that or it's from the Extreme Battle mode in Resident Evil 2. Fuck off, Crow. This also has the quick turn, which wasn't even in Resident Evil 2, if I remember correctly. It wasn't until 3 that they added that. Man, I'm doing terrible against these crows. This one is just flopping at my feet. And there's also the ability to manually reload if you aim and hit A, or X rather. Got some spring dogs here. So there are some enemies in this, I think, that are just from 1.5 that weren't in the final game. But so far, just familiar stuff. You can still stun lock the dogs with a pistol. Except for when they're behind you. And even the aiming isn't any faster than the typical aiming, so I can't, like, snap off a shot. Also, this mini-map HUD is not going to be in the final game. It's just apparently to make it easier in this mode. Looks like it could take quite a few hits. You'll actually get a flashing low health indicator when you're dying. So you don't have to pull up the map to see your health, or the inventory. Pretty sure we can't actually climb up there or anything. We're stuck in this center. But I assume they're going to do different maps for this. This is just kind of the most basic one. Okay, now we're in Caution. So we can actually pull up our inventory. We do have an inventory. You can see we've got a revolver, a pistol, and a shotgun. The shotgun looks like the same one from the main game. The pistol looks different, and the Magnum is definitely different. Oops. Yeah, the Super Red Hawk. Oh, I guess they don't have a check screen for it yet. Alright. The one time that dogs are actually dangerous in Resident Evil is when they're on opposite sides of you. If I get them both in front of me, it's fine. Because I can just kind of stun lock them. They do have a slight invincibility period when they're getting back up. Or at least a period where their hitbox is lower. But, otherwise, you can just kind of stand here and keep doing this. Okay, one more. And I'm out of ammo. Peachy. Alright. I don't think you can actually get more ammo, so I'm pretty sure this is a survive for as long as you can with what you have. I wonder if we'll get any zombies in this. Oh, lickers. Sorry, I'm not used to this control scheme because it's completely different than an actual Resident Evil game. I'm just gonna go with the Red Hawk because lickers can fuck you up if they corner you in a group. And they still have their murder pounce, which they seem to really like using. Yeah, that one. The one that fucking takes a big chunk out of your health. Obviously, I wouldn't waste this if I actually wanted to do well, but, you know, we're just kind of messing around here. I think they might actually be a little bit too prone to using that attack, based on the amount of times that they're doing the I'm about to do the jump sound. So that might need a little tweaking. For me, the most annoying thing they do is that fucking slash your ankles thing that stuns you. Because if there's more than one of them, they can both do it, and there's nothing you can do. Also, if I get hit with another one of those jump attacks, I'll die here. Alright, what else do you got? Oh, yeah, so these are enemies from the 1.5. I don't know if they work yet. Oh, yep, they did. They definitely do. Am I dead or am I stunned? I'm stunned. Please get up. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a point where you'd have some like Raccoon City Zoo enemies, which eventually was a thing that came back in Resident Evil Outbreak. There's only 2 of these guys, so I'm assuming they're actually fairly durable. I guess these guys also would have became the Eliminators, because they do look fairly similar. Which didn't show up until Resident Evil 0. gonna use the Magnum on these guys. Oh man, that stun is really annoying. Just gotta waggle your sticks to get back up. Alright, that's one. Oh, okay. Fucking tyrant. I thought I heard a second one. I mean, I'm pretty sure the team is going to be using some stuff from, you know, other PS1 Resident Evil games. Like, I'm pretty sure this is just the Resident Evil 1 tyrant? Maybe not. I think he has more detail. They're also using a different engine from the default one used for Resident Evil. Well, default. I tried to skip past him. That was a bad idea. Gotta stay on his gimpy arm side. Though he doesn't have the lunge that he had in Remake, where he jumps forward and slashes. Nope. Alright. Is that it? I mean, I could have done better, but, you know, survived. Almost took enough damage to die 3 times over. C rating. And I guess the idea is you can also unlock new costumes for the characters, which, you know, come with not only new weapon sets, but new enemy sets as well. So it's not just the same group of enemies every time. How do you actually change costume? Or maybe it's just because I don't have one unlocked yet. Because, yeah, it kind of seems like it's just pick one. Alright, well, let's just take a quick look at Leon, and then we'll be done here. I probably need to get a better rating to unlock a new costume, and not just finish it. So what did Leon have? Same stuff, it looks like, for starters. I love the crow's derpy attack where they just bounce off of you and hit the ground. It does seem like they can't really fly for very long in this. They have to sort of hop. I thought you'd be sneaky there. I heard you coming. I guess you can't actually turn fast enough now to kind of juggle them like this. Alright, just keep doing this. But yeah, it's really cool to see that people are actually essentially making an old Resident Evil game. And you know, as a fan project, it is always subject to potential termination by Capcom. Especially since they are remaking Resident Evil 2 and hopefully are making that in a classic Resident Evil style as well, and not trying to, like, Resident Evil 4-ify it. Being Capcom, that's very unlikely that they'll do the thing that people want, since it seems that Capcom usually does stuff that people want by accident. And not because they actually understand what people are looking for. Oh man, this control scheme. Every time. Try to hit start to bring up the menu. Nope. Yeah, that's way better to just kind of group them up like that. What was my time last time? Like 8 minutes? Oh boy. Doing so well, and then I got Slash. Alright, so Monkey's up next. Oh my god. Oh boy. Every time I'm gonna mess that up. I don't know why they would change the control scheme like that. Making circle menu instead of triangle, you know, making square accept instead of X. Is Leon, like, starting to turn red? I feel like there's some sort of weird pink light on me now. Okay. Press square on item, not circle. Trying to do the fast reload. I'm not familiar enough with the controls for this to work well, though. Oh, wow. It's a lot easier once you know what's coming. Hit accuracy, 100%. I really thought that last shot on the Tyrant missed completely, but I guess that's what killed him. Alright, did I get anything for getting an A rank? I mean, I know it's not an S rank, but it's a rank. Oh man, look at this sweet arrow cheat codes. Up, down, left, right, right. It's not quite the Konami code. Up, down, left, right, right. Bonus gallery. So yeah, I think this is all just concept art from original Resident Evil. You can see Leon had a ridiculous life jacket kind of armor at one point. Yeah, she's got more like a you know, motorbike kind of suit than a chopper. Like she's riding a Yamaha. But then there's one that looks a lot more like Claire's leather jacket. There's Marvin Brana. No idea who that is. Chief Brian Irons. This is probably the reporter guy. There's Birkin, or Lady Birkin. Some other cop who probably dies. But yeah, it's cool that they're just kind of taking this stuff, because there isn't that much of a game in the leaked version of 1.5. You know, like there's screens that are unconnected that you have to use a debug to kind of warp between, you know, and there's no functional doors between them for a bunch of them. And they're basically just taking that stuff as a basis and working with it and this kind of concept art and stuff to try to create a game that's close to what they think it was supposed to be. Obviously, Capcom didn't just come out and be like, yo, this is where we were going with this, but I mean, obviously they didn't like where they were going with it because they canceled it. Well, they didn't cancel it, but, you know, they started over, essentially. Still some of the same stuff. Obviously, this still takes place in Raccoon City. It still has the two characters, you know, one of which is a cop who goes to the police station. I guess this will show some of the models that were in the 1.5 version. The zombies look quite a bit chunkier. Tiny crow. Dog. Spider. Other spider. One of which is probably poisonous. Gorilla fella. Some sort of spider human thing. Some spider tyrant. A different gorilla. And, I guess that's Birkin there. His head's sort of stuck in his tumorous chest. But yeah, so this is, that's pretty much all there is to it. You know, there's other, as I said, there's other costumes you can unlock that change up the gameplay a bit. But it's pretty much just, fight a bunch of waves of enemies as a character, do it faster, try to get better time, better score. I keep trying to back out and just hitting the wrong buttons. At first I actually thought I had, like, bound my controller wrong, but I rebound it and no, this just uses its own weird control scheme. But yeah, that's the Battle Coliseum preview version. Obviously this is freely available. You know, you can play it on an emulator. You could actually apparently burn this and run it on, you know, a modded PlayStation and it'll work. You know, it is built for the PlayStation hardware. Because, you know, they could have made a HD sort of thing out of this, but they didn't because they want to make a classic Resident Evil experience that's close to what Capcom was trying to make before they gave up on it. Which, Resident Evil seems to be a series that has a lot of problems like that of, you know, versions being canceled and restarted. You know, Resident Evil 4 went through like 3 different iterations before the final version. And, you know, one of those iterations became Devil May Cry because it was too different from the thing. But they're like, hey, maybe we've got something here fighting demons in a castle. And, you know, there's 1.5. There's actually another canceled Resident Evil game that I'm going to take a look at that was 90% complete before it was abandoned. So that's kind of neat. We're going to check that out at some point. But this is about Battle Coliseum from the Resident Evil 1.5 Revival Project. And I really hope those guys finish it and it doesn't fall apart. But they've already been working on it for a couple of years, so hopefully this will come out, you know, next year or whatever, and Capcom doesn't prematurely murder it so that people will play Resident Evil 2. Even though, you know, I'm totally someone who would buy Resident Evil 2's remake and play this in the same year. I'm not like going to be Resident Evil'd out. Anyhow, I've been Shadefyre, and I will see you again with some more old Resident Evil stuff. Until then, you folks all take care.